Okay, thank you very much, Tony, and thank you very much, Ruth, as well. So I'm going to try and go through this fairly quickly because I know we're a little bit over time now, so bear with me. So I am going to talk to you about a little fundraising idea that cropped up during the lockdown. And I just wanted to give a little bit of background as to sort of where it came from and why we decided we needed to do something to help our mental health, really. So we all know that on the 20th of March 2020, the majority of us with BEHCETS had to close our doors, say goodbye to the world and retreat into the much needed safety of our homes. For me, it was quite a frantic, panic-stricken time. So for those of you that don't know, I'm a paediatric nurse that works in quite a busy hospital. So while all this was going on and trying to wait for advice to shield, it was becoming more and more anxious, both where I worked and where I was sort of out and about in the community. And then schools closed, shielding started, I had to stop working, and then the joys of homeschooling began, which I never want to do again. So we were told as a sort of community of patients that we were to stay at home, we were to stay away from people, that we shouldn't go out at all, that we should have everything delivered to our house. So like so many of us, it rocketed our anxiety. Everything seemed to be very highlighted for us and we seemed to be very, very vulnerable. And I became afraid to touch things. I was afraid to touch the post. How many days should I leave that in quarantine? Should I touch the bins? What about the food that's just been delivered? Do I wipe it down? Do I leave it? How many days do I leave it for? Everything about life became incredibly anxious. And so my mental health did deteriorate. I will admit it. I became incredibly anxious. I had a lot of panic attacks. But as soon as that shielding letter arrived, I felt quite safe. I felt quite relieved and quite protected. But do not go out at all. Not even for exercise. Now, I'm not a rule breaker, but this one was a real challenge to follow. And I know that for many of us that are online today in this AGM and conference, might have even been on your own. And being told that you cannot leave your house, that you cannot go out of your house, had a huge impact on our well-being and our mental health. I was home with 2 young children. I wasn't able to work from home at that time, and I was struggling. And I needed time to myself and I needed to get out. And others who were shielding, due to the online forums, we were able to have a little chat on there about decisions and what we should do, were also advised, go for an early morning walk or a late evening walk when it's less busy, when there's less people around, go for a run, go for a cycle to help your mental health. So I wasn't alone in needing this headspace. And I had started running again in September 2019 for the London Marathon, which was a crazy idea. So I set my alarm, I got my running kit ready, I had my trainers by the door, and I went for a very early morning run, and it felt very good. So I started to run through shielding, and my anxiety improved. I felt like I was more capable, I could cope with the day, I could cope with the stress of homeschooling, and I felt a lot less fragile. Equally, on the other side, in England, in London, was my lovely friend Laura, who was also cycling her way through shielding in order to sort of survive the times, and she was cycling through an eerily quiet London. And so we swapped photos of our local safe adventures and we gave encouragement as we helped each other survive homeschooling and shielding. And then an idea formed in my head. Could we create a fundraiser based on running and cycling once these shielding restrictions were eased? And would others be interested in taking part? Would anybody else want to do it with us? And what should we aim for that was both realistic and achievable? So with the help of Claire, the idea to cycle or run the distance between the 3 centres of excellence was formed, and that's a total of 226 miles. So we decided to do it over 13 weeks to allow people the chance to do it safely, because for me, I couldn't run many more than 17 miles a week. It would be impossible. And then it was time to recruit some people. And we had the title, Bike for BEHCETS, Run for the Rare. So we recruited Claire. I messaged Claire and I said, Claire, would you be interested in this fundraising idea I have? It's a bit crazy, but do you fancy it? So Claire had been using her hand cycle in her garden, and I had seen her post a couple of pictures on Facebook, and I got in touch with her and she said, yes, straight away. Yes, I'm in. What are we doing? And so we came together with the idea, and she has been absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. She's gone beyond and above the miles that we had set. And if you want to read her full story, her full testimony, please do. It's on the BEHCETS UK website and it's live now. So she found it incredibly helpful for her mental health, forming friendships, and just encouraging us as well along the way. And then we had Lauren, who felt brilliant to be part of a good team, working towards the same goal, raising money, pushing herself physically and mentally, and also she got some cats along the way, so that's why there's pictures of cats there. And Stacey, who you might have read in the newsletter, has been on a mission to raise £1,000 for BEHCETS UK, and I am absolutely thrilled to announce that she has absolutely smashed her target. And she'd never met anybody with BEHCETS before. So when I invited her to join this, she was, well, there's other patients doing it. I said, well, yes, you know, I'm a BEHCETS patient, and it was brilliant to have somebody else for her to talk to, I think. And she has been an absolute inspiration. We had some photo challenges to keep us going, which I set along the weeks of different things we should find along our local safe runs, cycles, walks. And it was brilliant just seeing all the photos from all the different areas, knowing we can't visit those places anytime soon, so we might as well enjoy them through photos. And then we had my lovely friend Amanda from Wales, who dusted off her faithful 34-year-old bike to get riding again. And she managed to do 108 miles before, unfortunately, a horrible bout of Legionnaire's disease had to make an end to her challenge, but she is determined to get back on her bike as soon as she is fit and able. And Jean, who you'll probably recognise from the London Centre for Excellence. She is a hardcore fundraiser. She's already done London to Paris on her bike. She got rid of her bike before lockdown, and then I messaged her to say, do you fancy doing a biking challenge? She was like, no, I haven't got a bike. So she did what I did. She got on her trainers and she went running. And it has really helped with her mental health as well, and just finding herself along the way as she's listened to really good podcasts. And then these were some late newcomers who Laura had met in a cafe, who she spoke to about the Bike for BEHCETS fundraiser, and they decided they would like to come on board. They were inspired by Laura's story and the story of Zoe, and they cycled and walked every day and smashed the 226 miles within weeks. And Liz has recognised that she feels much happier with exercise as well. And that becomes a recurring theme. A lot of people have said how this has really benefited their mental and physical health. And then John Mather, who we all know as well, with all of his mates who have just kept cycling thousands and thousands of miles between them. And John's mantra of the 3 C's, cafe, somewhere stop, catch your breath. Coffee, a good cup, fuels miles, and cake. No ride would be complete without a good slice of cake. And we ate cake. We ate a lot of cake, and we baked for BEHCETS as well. So we had little baking challenges along the way, which we then shared. And then this amazing family. So Izzy had never met anybody with BEHCETS before either. She's only 17, was diagnosed at the age of 11, and her amazing family went walking and cycling and fundraised an amazing £4,522, which is probably more today. And Izzy, like I said, had sort of been alone in her journey with BEHCETS. She'd never really known anybody suffering from it before. And so she's really enjoyed meeting other people with BEHCETS disease and learning about our experiencing and having that sort of support as well. And her school has actually nominated BEHCETS UK as one of their charities to support this year. So she's done an incredible job of raising awareness and fundraising. And then we have my lovely friend Laura with her daughter Zoe and granddad, who decided to jump on board a very, very, very old bike and do his miles as well. And they found it a lot of fun. They found it was a real good distraction from COVID, meeting new people, and then seeing all the bike rides and jogs and walks and things like that as well. And lots of ice cream was eaten by Zoe. Simon had done a biking fundraiser before, and he was really keen to get involved again. He brought Paddington Bear along for the ride, so we had little photos of Paddington Bear to see where he was. And he's been an absolute sunshine of delight. He was always hello, morning, posting things, keeping us going, inspiring us to carry on. And then my friend Adinda. So this is who I teamed up with in case I didn't get through my miles or I wasn't very well. So I had a little team. So I said to Dinda, can you share the miles with me? And she was in Sweden and she got her family involved. So she got her dad involved, her children involved. They went biking for kilometres. And it was an incredible thing to reconnect with her running while on the phone. And then myself. So I sort of embarked on an awareness fund sort of campaign really on Facebook and social media to raise awareness of Behçet's disease and the different systems that it affects for us, and how I could help to gain a little bit more insight for people that might not understand the disease very well. I ran to new places I'd never been to before, just in my borough, and I ate a lot of jelly babies and I ate a lot of cake. And how much have we raised? £10,125 as of last night. So we have done an incredible amount of fundraising between quite a small team. And of course there was cake to celebrate the fact that we had reached £10,000. And I just wanted to say that all of the people that got involved in this challenge, you were all amazing. I am so grateful for all of your support. For a little idea that formed has become quite a big event. So if anybody out there is thinking, I know a group of people that are keen by cyclists, or I know people that will run, this is not a challenge that is standalone. This can be replicated. This can be done again. We set up a fun, like I say, a Facebook group to support each other. That can be done very, very easily. Keep it private, keep it within yourselves. And if you'd like to know more about our inspirational stories, like I said, all of the testimonials, I had to edit them down quite a bit. So they are available on the BEHCETS UK website, and they are live now for you to go and read.